Oh, successful. We are recording. Okay, hi. I am Rose Morris, and I'm with Abrams Nation. I'm the owner, the president, sometimes the janitor. And this company started because I have a son, Abram, who's on the spectrum, and I created a bed for him to fit, to really help our own needs. And after doing that, I realized that I had so many days where I just felt like I couldn't live without it. And I thought maybe other people had the same issues or could use the bed. And then I sold a few beds and I sold a few more. And here we are 12 years later. And I am with Jamee Kovacs.
Hi.
And Jamie is one of our moms that has a safety sleeper and has turned into a friend. She's local, and I just thought I would have her on and we could talk about just moms and safety sleeper and special needs and some things that are going on right now around your life. I think this past Tuesday, was it? Was that
Monday.
Angel Tuesday? Monday? Okay.
Monday.
So Jamie, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about you and your son and how we met?
Okay. My name is Jamee Kovacs, as Rose said earlier, and I have 3 children. Caleb is my oldest. He is 10, and he was diagnosed with a genetic disorder called Angelman syndrome 3 weeks after his 2nd birthday. We have a daughter, Mila, who's 8, and Maddie, who is 5. When Caleb was, so one of the clinical implications of Angelman syndrome is a sleep disorder. And Caleb is also nonverbal. He has a balance disorder, a seizure disorder, and developmental delays. And I think he's coming to visit. But when he was 2, our other daughter, or our second child was born, and she needed the crib. So Caleb went into a bed, and from the age of 2 to 4, it was fine. But then when he was 4, he realized that he was big enough and strong enough to climb over the bed rail and get out of bed. And so every night it was me holding him in bed until he fell asleep, which took hours. And then in the middle of the night, hey, I'm talking about you.
Hi.
Wait, hi, there's Rose.
Hi, Caleb.
Yeah, that's your friend. So then in the middle of the night, I would hear noise and he would be out of his bed, and it was not safe. So we Googled beds for kids with special needs, and here we are. You were the first one that popped up.
You know, I remember when we spoke and you were talking about the bed, and I was telling you about the bed, and somehow, you know, it was like, where are you? And so no, because I think I saw your phone number come up or something, and said, oh, I'm just north of Pittsburgh. You're like, I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm in Monroeville or outside of Monroeville. So
yeah.
I thought it was really neat. You're a story that I tell all the time. And I say, I had this mom and we were talking and she found us online and she didn't realize we were right here in our backyard. And it's not like you found me because I was in your backyard.
Right.
So I always think that's pretty cool that we connected.
I think we came that night to look at the bed.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure.
You were like, we're coming now. That's funny. Well, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about, just from your perspective, how the safety sleeper changed your life?
Well, I mean, I always say it changed our life because, like I described, I was literally like laying in bed with him every night, restraining him just to get him to go to sleep, because if I left the room, so would he. Mm-hmm. And nobody was getting any sleep because he does have a sleep disorder. He still doesn't sleep through the night. So he wakes up in the middle of the night every night, and he was getting out of bed. So we got the safety sleeper, and the first night I had to stay in there with him until he fell asleep. Like, he was crying and it was a little rough. And the second night I didn't have to stay in there with him. We closed it up. He didn't cry. It took a while. It took, almost 2 hours for him to fall asleep. But that wasn't anything out of the ordinary anyways. And by the third night, he was like getting in there. We would let him have his iPad in bed with him for a little while and then take it. And I took it and he went to sleep and he wasn't crying. And it was like, this is only the third night. This is amazing. And it was peace of mind. So even though I can hear him wrestling in the middle of the night and I could hear his blankets moving, I knew he wasn't getting out of bed. So I didn't have to like throw off the blankets and run down the hallway to his room to make sure he was okay. You know, the peace of mind is key to this.
Peace of mind is not something that I think somebody who's ever not experienced the lack of can truly understand. It's a weight that I feel like comes off of you physically and emotionally and mentally when you just know they're safe. Maybe not happy, maybe not asleep, but safe. So.
Well, he loved it. He loved his bed from the very beginning. He would go and hang out in there during the day. He would take his iPad and you know, he transitioned out of that. Like he was only 4 when he got the safety sleeper. So, but now in the mornings when he doesn't feel like going to school, he will. When he gets out of bed and I help him get dressed, he'll get right back in bed, take his iPad and be like, bye. Like, let me be able to relax a little bit before school.
That's funny. That's funny. Well, I got to also say, I'm super impressed with you because that first bed, we had not really conquered insurance. And you were such a go-getter and you did fundraisers for it. And so since then, I know you've done fundraisers to help the Angelman cause as well. So I just wanted to talk about some of the fundraisers you've done, some of the unique things you've done to raise money, and tell us recently about the one that you just did.
Okay. So for the bed, I had a very dear friend of mine that our moms were friends when we were babies. So we are lifelong friends. She worked for like a designer eyeglass company or something. And she had all of these designer sunglasses. And so she donated them to me and I was able to do like a Facebook auction or something, and people bought the sunglasses. They bid on them and bought them, and that's how we raised. I had like 20 pairs, and that's how we raised money to buy the bed. That was initially. Now I mentioned that Caleb has Angelman syndrome. Angelman syndrome has been cured in a lab. So that is where all of our fundraising efforts go now, is to raise money for research. And the Foundation for Angelman Syndrome Therapeutics is the foundation that we support with our fundraising efforts. We've done golf outings, and once COVID started, we did like a Zoom comedy event. But COVID made fundraising very difficult. My latest one, so in November, I learned how to crochet. Frankly, because my daughter Mila was getting done with school too early and she was bored because she was remote half the week. So I thought, like, we need to find a hobby. We need to find something to do. So we went to Michael's, we bought all this stuff for crocheting. And so I learned how to crochet, and then I loved it and I became obsessed with it. And it was all I was doing. And like a little after the first of the year, my mother-in-law had asked me to make her this certain style of hat. She sent me a screenshot of it, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I can make that. So I searched for a video and I made it, and then I loved it. So I wanted to make one for myself. And then I thought, I
can't believe I left mine in the car.
Well, I'm gonna put mine on.
That was so like, bad to me.
So this has a hole in it for my ponytail. But I thought, I feel like I could sell these.
Yeah.
And so I have bobby pins in the back of my hair. Okay, there. So this is mine, and it's just a little beanie. It has a hole in the top. But you don't have to get it with a hole in the top. I can make it closed, you know. Well, anyways, I posted it. I made a couple. I put one on me, one on Caleb, took a picture, posted it on Facebook. And I, as of today, have gotten 84 orders. So thank you. I raised a little over $1,600, and Caleb has like a fundraising link through Fast, and I just said, like, if you're not interested in buying a beanie, but you still want to donate, you can do it here. And I raised, that 1,600 includes extra donations for people that didn't want a hat, but they wanted to donate anyways.
So that's a good segue, because I was going to ask you, we got somebody who commented on our Instagram and wanted to know where she could get one. And so we'll need to get that information so we can share that if you're still making hats.
I am. So my husband wants me to put a cap on it, but I have a hard time putting a cap on it because it's like raising
Put
money.
a cap on it. That's cute.
Yeah, no pun intended. Good fun. So I haven't put a cap on it. And I just got 5 orders today just from wearing it.
Yeah, it's cute. I love mine.
Oh, I love that. I'm like, hey, I made it. And it's
And
a
I really
fundraiser, and I have this little tag.
Dude, I love the wings.
Yeah,
So,
thanks.
FAST is the acronym for the nonprofit that you raise money for therapeutic research. And
Yes.
the wings are for angels, for angel
Yes.
wings, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure I cover all these things that I know and that you know, but maybe other people don't know.
Yes.
So a couple more questions. I guess if you could share for any parent, anything that, any final comments you might have on how to, well, let's go back. The second bed, you got another bed because it had been multiple years. Caleb was growing, needed
Yes.
more space, and we got it through insurance, I believe.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yep.
Could you tell us anything about that process? Had you ever used insurance before, or just any tips or tricks, anything for families thinking about using insurance?
Okay, so honestly, we live in Pennsylvania, and I feel like Pennsylvania is probably the best state to live in when you have a child with special needs. Like, Caleb's medical assistance has paid for everything except for our initial bed. And I think that because at that time it wasn't FDA approved yet. And I think that's why it wasn't covered. But I mean, every doctor visit, every medication, every therapy, like, I've never paid a dime for anything for him, like, medically related. He had dental work. I mean, everything has been covered, and it's been a seamless process. Like, I've never struggled to get anything covered except the bed. And the reason was it wasn't FDA approved. But as soon as it was, we got another one, and it was just, yeah, here's your bed. It's covered. We've got medical stroller for him. Just there's a lot of things that the insurance covers, that is a benefit to the life of a kid with special needs. Or
I'll tell you too, I think for those listening, it's also a testament to you probably doing the work ahead of time, going to the doctors, talking to the doctors. You're very, well put together in documenting his needs and talking about his needs. And you're such a strong advocate for him. So again, you should definitely take your hat off, because you're a really awesome mom.
Thank you. Thank you. So are you.
Well, it takes one to know one. We're just doing the best we can do with the tools we have, honestly, is how I feel. But I think it's great to give props to those that we see doing it, because we all know, I mean, it's a struggle. Just, just when you think you know what you're doing, then they come up with something that makes you think, what am I going to do now, right? So, and it never changes. It just, it evolves. I'm fumbling over my words here, but you know what I mean? It's the same diagnosis. They grow, they get better, but then they have different areas. And
yes, more challenges.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you have other kids and their siblings, and then we're worried about their siblings. I mean, I'm worried about Macy's feelings and her, how she's going to grow up, and how this is going to affect her, and how she's going to affect him. And there's the weight of the world on our shoulders. I'm assuming you feel the same.
Oh yes. I mean, Mila just got a invisible ink pen for Valentine's Day from her teacher that she loved. Caleb somehow had it in the car. I didn't realize that he took it apart. And Mila had just said earlier that day, I said, "Where's your invisible ink pen?" And she was like, "I don't know. Caleb probably found it and ruined it." And I said, no, he didn't have it. I would have seen him. Well, sure enough, that night that happened. And I texted her teacher, like, "Where did you get this pen? Because Mila said this earlier, and I cannot handle her being right about this right now." She was like, "I think I might have an extra one at school."
Oh my
So
goodness, that's awesome. That's a sweet
yeah,
teacher.
yes.
So any other thoughts for parents with special needs or specifically angel men that you'd like to share?
You know, I never want to like sound cliche. I don't want to sound cliche now. I just feel like this is something right in my face at this phase of my life, is like, for other special needs parents, is just making sure that you try to find anything, any type of way to give yourself a break or some release. Like, I learned how to crochet, and at the time I didn't know I would love it, but I love it. When I'm doing it at night after the kids are in bed, I'm not scrolling Facebook. I'm not scrolling Instagram. I'm not like getting jealous of other people that have seemingly everything. I'm not watching TV. I'm just crocheting, creating things, and I love it. It brings me peace and like a calmness, and it feels like a break
Awesome.
to me.
That's awesome.
So,
That's awesome that you can have something that gives you such peace, and then you can also give back, and it's just a positive wheel.
yeah, I feel like I found a purpose in it, and it's exciting.
That's really cool. I mean, I can tell you that's what, not to sound like I'm a spokesperson and a business owner, but I am. So that's exactly what I feel like with the safety sleeper, that I found this passion, this calling, this destiny. I live my destiny every day, and there's nothing better. And crocheting hats is the same, because it's giving you that peace of mind. It's giving others a hat. It's giving others something beautiful to make themselves feel good. And you're also fundraising for that therapy. And it's really cool. All the research they are doing is so exciting.
Hopeful.
I don't think you guys have ever been to the FAST Gala, have you?
I have not.
So it's one of those things.
To leave. I'm going to take this off because I'm getting hot. But it's difficult to leave Caleb overnight.
I get it. Totally understand. And it's difficult to take him with you, because then you'd have to have a whole entourage to go.
Yes,
but
yeah.
I think we should do a fundraiser for Jamie and for you guys, your whole family, to go, because that FAST Gala is mind-blowing, amazing, spectacular, the most incredible gala event, scientific symposium I think I've ever been to for special needs. And I had a point, and I've just rambled on and forgot my point. But FAST, it's so amazing. They talk about all the things they do at FAST, and they raise millions of dollars. And it's families like you bringing in 2,000 here and 3,000 there, and it's pharmaceuticals bringing in millions. And now it's just this positive ball. It's exciting to know that it's cured in a lab.
Yeah.
So, if you can, just real quick, and do you know how that would affect Caleb? Does that mean he's cured, or does that mean it unlocks something and maybe he could speak, or he wouldn't have seizures, or would everything be gone? Or
so right now the clinical trial that's happening now is activating the paternal UBE3A. So Caleb has Angelman syndrome because his UBE3A gene is mutated, and we all have a maternal copy and paternal copy, and the maternal copy is mutated. All of us have a paternal copy, that is silent but healthy. So they have found a way to activate the paternal copy. And so in the clinical trials that are happening now, it's like improved cognition, improved seizures, improved sleep. So all of these things that are just improved would be life-changing. But I also know that there is, what did I read? There was a boy who had 0 words at the start of it, and like 4 months into the trial, he had 9 words. 9 words for me, and Caleb, that would be amazing. Yes, no, mom, dad, yes, juice. You know what I mean? It would be life-changing just to have 9. But my suspicion is that boy has continued, and all of the kids that are in the trial continued to develop their vocabulary. And I just think that, Caleb's 10. I don't know, but I think that by the time Caleb is 15, 16, 17 years old, his life is going to look a lot different. That's my belief, and that's my hope.
That's awesome. And that's why I get teary-eyed every time I go to FAST. And that's why they sucker me into raising my paddle and donating. not suckering, but you know what I mean. And
And that's why I suckered you into buying a hat.
yes, you did. And I would buy a whole bunch more when I get that link. So everybody that knows me, that would probably be your Christmas present next year. So. All right. Well, Jamie, I really, really appreciate you coming on and trying this with me and just talking to everybody. And I hope that we can spread some joy, tell moms that they need to take a break. It's okay to get a pedicure. In fact, it should be medicinal to get your pedicure and your manicure and your hair done and take some time for you. It's not selfish. It's called self-fulfilling, self-meditating, it's self-care. Thank you for helping me. We all have to stick in it together, and I love that we can connect, and I hope that we can connect with more families.
Yes, thank you for having me.
You are most welcome. I will post this, and we will post that link to your page, and hopefully your hubby does not kill us for having you have a job of like massive crocheting.
I'll be doing this into the summer.
Oh, well, there you go. Then you'll know you made a difference.
Yes.
Awesome. Hey, have a great night and give Caleb a hug for me.
Thank you. I will. You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.